Today, we talk about...
So we're back. Episode, still don't know. We are way behind in the edits again because I just booked a fuck ton of you guys. But we got another special guest.
What's
Introduce
up?
yourself, my man.
Usama Siddiquee, a.k.a. UsamaBinLaughin. All right.
Dope.
Glad to be here. Sadra's a good boy, good dude. I'm glad I met him.
Yeah, so...
we both ex-doctors out here.
yeah, we're going to get to that in a second. How I usually like to start this is giving us your comedy come-up. Like when you started, how you started, inspirations, all that kind of...
Yeah, man. I was in the med school track like you, bro. So you did just classic, right?
I did the thing.
Did the whole thing, right? Good.
But I got in out of high school, so I did like an accelerated... program where I got into med school out of high school, so like shit was set.
I know that shit. You were like a high performing kid, right? But like just
autistic, yeah.
So, implied, bro. I already know. So I was the same way because like just passively good at school. You know, I never really studied that much. I just kind of was good at it. And my dad was like, "You're gonna be a doctor," and I was like, "Fucking fine." I didn't give a fuck. I was playing games all my life. Lived very passively. Got into med school. The day I did MCAT, they got out of because MCAT was crazy for me. I don't know if it was for you, but it took a lot of energy.
Luckily, because of that program, I never even had to touch it.
Oh, dude! I think I snagged a 34 on the MCAT, and it was like the hardest thing I ever got in my life. And the day after I took it, I was like, okay, I did this thing for my parents. I did this thing.
By the way, a bunch of these kids are going to be hitting you up after. It's like, yo, what do I...
Right? These Brown fans. Oh, my God, dude. Yeah, man. I got that the day after. I was like, okay, what do I do for me? I did this thing for my mom and my dad. So now let me see what I want to do for myself. And comedy was like this weird idea. I love laughing. I love comedy. I was like all about it. But it was like comedy. Before you start it seems like an impregnable thing.
Yes,
right. You're like, how could you even do that? You just are that, right?
I thought it was just like a blessing bestowed on.
You wake up one day and then Red Fox comes from the grave. And he's like, "You're funny, bitch." You know? Then you become a comic. No, dude. So like, I was like, I kind of nursed this idea in the back. Like, what if I just wanted it?
Disobeyed my parents.
Yeah. But even thinking it is like the Indian parents are like thought police. You know what I'm saying? Like just thinking of it is a crime. So one day I'm telling my friend Nimesh, not Nimesh Patel. There's a friend I have. His name is Nimesh Patel, who's not the comic. He's just a guy I don't know.
We believe him.
Yeah. so my friend Nimesh, I was like, yo, I want to do comedy, and he's like, as a throwaway thing. And he was like, dude, I did comedy before. And it blew my fuck. What do you mean did comedy?
We get it. Nimesh Patel.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I know, right? But
it turns out it was Nimesh the whole time.
But it's hilarious that that's my get. That's as far as I can go is Nimesh Patel. My name drop is Nimesh Patel. I can't do better than... Even my fake fantasy is a comic who's not big. Okay. Great.
So I know, I've watched all your podcast stuff, which guys, you should check it out if you're mentally struggling brown person, but I feel like that's kind of disrespectful. It's a great. Well, why don't you sell it for us?
What do you mean, like in terms of like
what you get out of it?
Oh, like like the mind of the journey.
Yeah.
It's weird, man, because once you really follow something heavily, right, like intensely, it can be draining spiritually, or it can be the best thing that's ever happened to you, right? But it all depends on how you look at it, right? So when you follow a dream, people think you follow the dream and everything's good after that, right? Like I found comedy. Oh, your life must be just great after that. The real hardship starts when you follow the dream, because now you actually found something in life you care about, and now your actual life it like clicks on. It's like you live in black and white, and then you found your purpose, and then shit becomes color. But you still gotta fucking find the programming for the color TV. You still gotta find, the actors. You still gotta find. So
still gotta deal with the shit colors.
Bam, dude, bam. Because sometimes you still gotta hit the TV like that. So that hardship starts really, and you actually care about the hardship. Before, when I was living passively, if I didn't have something in my life, I didn't give a fuck because I was just, who cares?
Right.
But comedy, I found something I actually care about. So now, every day I do badly is a day my mind has the precarious element of hating itself. But the way I got out of that was listening to like WTF, like their come up and how they would bomb all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm bombing, they're bombing. This has got to be a normal thing. And then this one guy named Kyle Cease, I heard him, and he was like, don't look at comedy like an acquisition. Look at it like a way, like the being. Like the doing of it is more important than the actual getting of anything. So when people have a good set of any kind, it could be a comedy or painting, if they do a good thing, they'll feel good. If they do a bad thing, they'll feel bad. That sign graph I don't like. That every up has it down. We have to train ourselves as Americans. I think America loves acquisition. It loves feeling happy when it gets things. So you have to undo yourself from that idea. And the idea is, even if on a good set, you bring it back down to the center. On a bad set, you bring it back up to the center. Anything that's good, it was good because of fundamentals and technique. So you always put yourself back in that space of the cogs and the gears. So that was a good set, why? That was a bad set, why? So now you distance yourself from any sort of emotional energy between good and bad, and you kind of ride this sort of serenity. That's the only way I think you can do comedy for 10 years. I really think.
That's a cool concept, because when I've talked to other artists on here, like poetry writers I've had on here, and they actually describe it very differently. They say, really? I need the sine wave because I need to feel those things to be able to do it. Maybe he's more of a rookie than you. I don't know. But,
that guy quit probably. Went back to his dad's corporate office, I'm sure. Now, here's the thing. I think that's wrong because that allows your mental illness to kind of propagate and exacerbate. I think if you're engaged in something, because art requires both elements, the mind and the heart, right? So you feel and you blurt, but then you refine with the mind. So it's a constant flux. So both those things have to be pure or getting better if you want to get better at something, both the mind and the heart. And I think if you just look at the heart, you'll be this sort of like Charlie Parker-esque candle that burns at 9 ends, you know? And then the fuel's cheaper. But if you go from a place where you think and then react and then think big and have a flux, like everything I do, I think about what I do, but also I allow the doing to be spontaneous. So when you stay spontaneous in the present, truly in the present, you have that emotion, but you're not tied to it.
Right.
You're just present in the moment. So you are flowing with the vibe, but you don't actually get tied to the results of the emotion.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Most people get the emotion, then if the results aren't what they want, then the emotion stays.
Yeah.
Divide yourself at the end of that. So you have the emotion, spontaneous, living, breathing, presently as possible on stage or whatever you're doing. Then you release yourself.
Right. I think that's hard to do, though, especially with a lot of novice comics.
Oh, for sure.
And, you know, I'm still a novice comic, but I've come to that conclusion.
Simon does this thing where he like goes into a whisper hand motion and then says the thing exactly the same volume. It's like what's with the whisper with the same volume?
I thought this was improv. But, no, I really came to that conclusion by myself. Right. Also, but that's why whenever anyone asks me, "Hey, you try to do this full time and quit being a doctor?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
Because being the doctor thing is what has allowed me to separate myself the way you're describing. So anytime I have a bad set, I'm just like, all right, what's the worst that can happen? I can go back to saving lives.
Yeah.
So
right.
And anytime, even on social media or YouTube, anything I post that people don't react to well or as well as I'd like to, which is subjective as far,
of course,
doesn't faze me.
Right.
I don't even look at the views anymore. I'm just like, all right, I'll sometimes backlog and be like, oh shit, this got like 500 likes.
Right.
But that's exactly what you're talking about, I think, which is separating yourself from it and just keep moving. And that's why I don't think I could ever leave medicine, because it offers me this literal good, or I don't want to say good, but it's kind of nice knowing, or I should describe it like this, anytime you talk to a pure artist, like someone who does nothing but their art, whether it's acting, music, whatever, and then someone says a negative comment and then they lose their shit and they get depressed.
And these are like kind of like established people.
Yes, and you're like, what is wrong with you?
I lose respect for those kind of people.
But I don't, and I'll tell you why. Because if your entire life, similar to you, is comedy or whatever your thing is, and someone challenges it even once, you have to all of a sudden be like, holy shit, this is something creative, subjective. Am I really worth all this bullshit?
Right.
Whereas with my medicine, I could always go back to, dude, fucking save lives, bitch.
Right.
Say whatever the shit you want.
Right. I cleaned someone's asshole. So yeah, take that, Dan Soder.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, that's been my way of separating, but you have a very healthy approach to it.
I think, and I'll add one thing to your, how you don't look at your own views. I like that. I think as you evolve as well, I would assume, and it might not be your path, but the idea of like being able to see the views, actually coming face to face with the number and being like, I don't give a fuck. Like, so the idea of, that's where you're at, right? Yeah. The idea of like assessing the results. So having someone be like, yo, this is terrible, you know, if you're bombing a joke into someone's eyes, like you're bombing in the front, this guy is looking at you like, no. And if you can still keep your essence and keep your spirit, that's true power. That's true power of self.
Takes a lot of practice.
I think that's what I'm trying to go towards, is the power of self, is the idea of being as authentic as possible, giving what I have, and then understanding that's enough. And even if it's not enough, I'm just going to keep getting better.
Yep.
That's the idea, is like, no matter what subjectivity you're on, I'm going to keep growing. So that model of growth is going to be staying in me.
Yeah.
So by the time you hate on me the next week, I'm already past where you think I was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like when the haters come at you, it's like Doppler effect. Eventually the hate becomes like softer and softer because you're just like past the hate now, where they thought you were.
But you know why I think you're able to do that is because you clearly, so for those that don't know, and we can't get into all the details because we're on limited time, but definitely check out his podcast where he goes into a lot of the stuff about how you got into medical school, you ended up not going, pursuing the comedy thing full time. That's why I live here and he doesn't.
No, I live here now. I live here, bro.
I gave him the keys. But